Buongiorno and welcome back to my channel. Today is finally the follow-up of me testing some hyped up niche fragrances, episode 3. So if you want to know my first impression on all the fragrances that I'm going to talk about, then please check the description down below. I will also link it up here if you want to watch it and have an idea of how this fragrance smells as first impression, and then now that I had the chance to test it around. So we are talking about 12 fragrances, all are niche, very hyped up. So we have Creed, Amouage, Parfums de Mer, Juliette Has A Gun, Diptyque, and all these very hyped up brands. And I am going to tell you if they are worth the hype for me or not. Of course, these are my personal opinions. If you love a fragrance that I did not, then please continue loving your fragrance and wearing it without any problems. But before telling you about these fragrances, if you are new to my channel, hi, welcome. My name is Noura, and on this channel I mostly talk about fragrances. So if you are a fragrance lover, then please consider subscribing and also hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. Also follow me on Instagram, where I post some exclusive content that I don't do here on YouTube. And without further ado, let's jump in. And the first one that we are going to talk about is from Xerjoff, from the Casamorati line, and this is 1888. And this is an ambery, spicy fragrance. It has a lot of carnation and is a little bit of an old style kind of a fragrance. Took me maybe until the third try to actually like this fragrance. It's not everybody's cup of tea. So it has a lot of carnation, as I said, and I am not a fan of carnation, and maybe this is the main reason why I didn't like it so much. It's only in the very dry down that I actually like it. So after like an hour of spraying this fragrance, it starts very masculine. In the dry down, however, it goes in a unisex direction, but still it's a little bit on the masculine side. So for me personally, I would recommend this fragrance for men and for someone who loves ambery, spicy fragrances that are a little bit old school. So although I now like the fragrance, it's not something that I personally would wear or buy. And it has an amazing performance. It is very projecting and very like extremely long lasting, and if you spray this on clothes, it's eternal. It will stay on your clothes until you wash it. And since we are talking about clothes, be careful not to spray it on white clothes because it does leave like some color. And I picture this fragrance on a mature gentleman who knows what he wants, he knows what he loves and what works for him, and he sticks to it. This is how this fragrance smells to me, how I picture someone wearing this fragrance. So that was Xerjoff 1888. Now let's move to the other Xerjoffs that I have on the list, and this one is very hyped up. It's a favorite of so many, and that is Erba Pura. This is so potent. It's just extremely potent fragrance. If you love fragrances like Jasmine Wisp, I think that was from Al Haramain, or who was the company? I don't remember, but anyway, it's in that genre. They are not similar, but it's the same family. So a very potent, fruity fragrance that leaves a huge sillage. I mean, you need one spray of this and you can fill a room. It's just extremely potent, and I can see why people love it. It has something in it. Even my mother liked it, which was very surprising for me because my mother is like, you know, a very like into classy, elegant fragrances. She doesn't wear fragrances, but I mean, when she does, this is her vibe. So I was very surprised that she liked it. I personally don't. There is nothing wrong with it. It's very high quality. I mean, it is oily. If you spray it on your hand, you will see the oil. While I was writing my notes on this fragrance, my wrist touched it. It remained for a month every time I open this, I smell it. It's extremely potent. So beast mode to the max. But I don't like it. It's mostly amber musk with a very heavy dose of synthetic sweet fruity notes. So if you like fruity fragrances, like I said, jasmine wisp, for example, and you love to leave a huge sillage, you want your fragrance to announce your presence, then this is for definitely for you. So yeah, that was Erba Pura. Now let's move to Creed, and the one that I have here is Love in White. Again, a Creed fragrance that is nice, but not mind-blowing. It's a floral fragrance. From the name, I thought that this will be a bridal fragrance, and it's not. Not that it's not totally a bridal fragrance, but there are better options out there. Mostly what I get here is Narcissus and Magnolia with like a slight green touch. It's like a true flower, like a fresh cut flower. It opens quite citrusy, but it settles down more to a slightly creamy floral. I know there is a rice accord here, and I personally don't get it. Maybe it's what I smell in the background that that I don't like, but I can't say it's rice, you know? Again, I find this is an overpriced fragrance. So again, Creed with overpriced fragrances. I think I will stop testing Creed because it seems like the whole brand is not working out for me. And is it a bad fragrance? No, it's not. But I mean, I am not going to pay so much money for this fragrance. And also because it has moderate longevity and soft to moderate sillage. And I don't feel like recommending it because it's not special. I think if you like this fragrance, you would like also Cartier Carat. And that one I absolutely adore. It has again this, not magnolia and narcissus, it has also these unique florals, but to me it smells better than this one, and they have almost the same longevity and sillage. So yeah, if you like this one and you want something a little bit more affordable in the same family, not that they are similar fragrances, then check Cartier Carat. So yeah, that was Creed, Love in White. Now let's move to Amouage, and the one that I have here is Unwashed Journey. This is quite an experience. So in the opening, I totally dislike this fragrance. It's like a mess to my nose. You will smell this sharp green powdery touch from the mimosa. You will get the cypriol and the tobacco, the sweetness of the honey. So it's like you don't know what you are smelling in the beginning, at least to me. It settles down, however, to a sweet apricot-y fragrance. I would say the two notes that are very predominant here are honey and apricot and osmanthus, and both complement each other, as you all know very well, because osmanthus has a little bit of this apricot touch with like this hint of tobacco and cypriol in the background. I think also what bothers me in the opening is the nutmeg, because it's quite predominant when you first spray it. It is slightly spicy, but I wouldn't categorize it as a spicy fragrance. Mostly to me, this is a honey fruity amber. Is it everybody's cup of tea? No, but it's not the most challenging Amouage fragrance. You know, Amouage has some really challenging fragrances. I wouldn't consider this one of them. At the beginning, as I said, yeah, I thought it's one of these very polarizing Amouage fragrances, but it's not in the very dry down. So I would recommend this one for someone who wants a sweet apricot fragrance that is more deep and dark. So it's a fragrance that you can wear also during winter. And as all Amouage fragrances, has an amazing performance. I still have to smell an Amouage fragrance that doesn't perform well. Very long lasting and very projecting, especially if you overspray. So it's a nice fragrance that I would recommend. Yes, if you love, as I said, apricots, honey, and like this warm, deep, ambery base, but it's personally not my favorite and not for me. So yeah, that was Unwashed Journey. Let's move to Tiziana Terence. And this is my first Tiziana fragrance I ever smell, and it's Al Contrario. I know it's not the most hyped up fragrance from the brand, but I wanted to see what the fuzz is all about. So I have Kirke coming very soon to me, but for now I have this one to try. And I guess from the reviews and everything, I should have expected this fragrance. Tiziana Terence, from at least what I hear, is a brand that makes extremely heavy, mostly gourmand fragrances, and this is definitely it. I don't like gourmand fragrances, and this is not an exception. Let me tell you that. I did not change my mind about it. It's very chocolate heavy and a little bit boozy with kind of a woody base. There is definitely vanilla. Very sweet, but yet complex. So objectively, it's a well-done fragrance, but it's just not my vibe. I will try more from the brand, but I think this brand is not for me. It's very dry. It has a lot of malt in it. So I would consider this a fragrance for someone who is looking for a dry chocolate fragrance that loves gourmand. It's not overly sweet though. It's definitely sweet, but not the sweetest gourmand out there. So yeah, I think like the woods in the base does balance out the fragrance a little bit. But yeah, chocolate, malt, vanilla. This is what this fragrance is all about. A dry chocolate. It's quite long lasting, but it's not very projecting. So I would say it's moderate to strong projection. Maybe if you overspray, you will have a solid, strong sillage. But yeah, I am not an oversprayer, so I don't know. So that was Tiziana Terence Al Contrario. Another brand that is new to me is Morisk. I think it's an Italian brand, and the one that I have is Jasminisha. I got it because mainly I love jasmine. So this is a brand that is not very hyped up actually, but I wanted to test it with you all. And this is a nice, warm and candy-like jasmine with a kick to it from the ginger. And although I love jasmine, it's not my favorite. I don't dislike it. It has this generic sweetness to it that I totally dislike. It's compared to Granada from Mmmm, and I do have that one as a sample, and I don't get so much similarities. However, I would say if you love Granada from Mmmm, you will also like this one. They have the same vibe, but this one is more mass pleasing in my opinion than Granada. So it has moderate to strong longevity and sillage. So yeah, definitely Granada from Mmmm has a better performance, but I don't know, I find this more mass pleasing. So if you were put off a little bit of the pomegranate note or by Granada from Mmmm, check Jasminisha, you may like it more. So and because of this sweetness that it has, it's not a fragrance that I personally would recommend for summer. You can wear it all year around, but not in the very heat of the summer. It's just too much like this sweet candy white floral. So yeah, if you love jasmine, you love sweet fragrances, then check Jasminisha from Moresque. Next is Initio Rehab. And this is a fresh lavender with woody undertones. It's definitely cozy, you know, because of lavender. And it does have like this vibe that Spice Bomb from Viktor and Rolf has. So if you like Spice Bomb, I think you would also appreciate this one. A lot of people consider this a total unisex fragrance. I would not. It's leaning to me definitely masculine. Not that a woman can't wear it. You can wear it, but yeah, to my nose, it does lean masculine. And it's one of the best Initio that I smell. It's not my favorite, but it's definitely in the top 5, I would say. Like all Initio fragrances, it's amazing in performance, very long lasting, strong projection. Some people consider it overpriced. I don't find that. I don't find that this is an overpriced fragrance, especially for the performance. I find Initio is one of the brands that, generally speaking, are not overpriced. And I know that a lot of people will disagree with me, but I find this signature worthy scent for men. Yeah, if you don't overspray this fragrance, you can definitely pull it off at any occasion, anytime. The lavender note really makes it a fresh, everyday scent if you don't overspray. If you overspray, it will be a statement maker. Initio fragrances do not joke. They are quite potent, most of them, let's say. So, and this is not an exception. So if you wear it lightly, you can pull it off all year round. Signature worthy scent, I would say, even in the office. So that was a Rehab from Initio. And since we talked about what is a little bit masculine fragrance for me, let's talk about one that is definitely masculine, and that is Layton from Parfums de Mer. And it's a gorgeous scent. Let me start by saying it's a gorgeous scent. As you all know, I am a fan of men fragrances from Parfums de Mer. I prefer much more the men collection to the women collection from that brand. And like Rehab, again, you have lavender, you have a woody undertone, and also a slightly spicy touch. But it dries down to a warm vanilla fragrance with an interesting apple note to it, and it dries down slightly sweet, so there is vanilla. It's a hyped up fragrance for a reason, because of the uniqueness, because of the performance. This one performs amazingly, very long lasting, strong projection, and it's sweet but not too much. It's unique, so it checks all the boxes. Is it my absolute favorite Parfum de Mer? No. But I would say this is one that most people would like. I mean, it's very hard to dislike it. But you do have to like slightly sweet fragrances because there is the sweet touch in it. And also, to be completely honest, is it my absolute favorite or in the list of my absolute favorite men fragrances? No. But it's a very beautiful fragrance that is unique, and it's hard to dislike or to offend someone when you wear this one. So it's very versatile. I would say it's something that you can wear all year round. So that was Layton from Parfums de Mer. Now let's move to Diptyque, and the one that I have is Son EdT. And this is a beautiful tuberose fragrance. It's one of the best tuberose fragrances out there, let me say it. Very similar though to Gucci Bloom, but if we compare them side by side, I definitely prefer this one. So I would say if you are looking for an elevated version of Gucci Bloom, then get yourself Diptyque Son. It starts with this fresh, bright tuberose. Towards the dry down, you will get a little bit of the other flowers in this fragrance, so orange blossom, iris, rose. But they are all tamed down and rounded by the musk. And it's one of the few tuberose fragrances, I would say, that are not very offensive, because let me explain. Some fragrances that have a predominant note of tuberose can be overwhelming, especially for other people who are around you, especially if they don't like tuberose. This is not it. This is very tamed down, very, I would say, classy tuberose fragrance. It's definitely one of the best tuberose, if not the best. And I actually would consider this one as a good choice for a bride. That one and Love Tuberose from Amouage, they are totally different, but both of them have this bridal vibe to them. It's fresh and bright and happy, but yet at the same time classy. Beautiful fragrance. This is the EdT. I didn't smell the EDP, so I don't know, but this has more of a moderate longevity and sillage. So I can't tell you if it's overpriced or not, because it has something similar, less classy, I would say, on the designer market, and that is Gucci Bloom. That has better performance. So I don't know. This is something that you have to decide for yourself. I personally definitely prefer this one, and performance is not an issue for me. I personally don't love tuberose, but if I do, I would go for Son and not for Gucci Bloom. But this is just me. So that was Diptyque Son. Now let's move to Byredo, and I have here Rose of No Man's Land. And this is a fresh rose fragrance with a woody undertone with a bite. So it opens up very fresh, you need like very natural smelling red rose with a hint of spiciness that comes from the pink pepper. In the dry down, however, it gets slightly sweet, like slightly, but it remains a true rose fragrance. It's a unisex rose fragrance. It leans definitely slightly feminine, but men can wear this fragrance no problem. And to me personally, this smells like a Jo Malone version of Gucci Guilty Absolute Parfum, if you know what I mean. So it's like a toned down, watery version of Gucci Guilty Absolute Parfum. Again, not that I am saying that they are similar fragrances, but this is how I smell it. It's as if Gucci Guilty Absolute Parfum was made by Jo Malone, because you know, Jo Malone tends to do this very watery, airy fragrances. And this is it. So yeah, it's this fresh, cold, red rose with a bite that I think comes from the papyrus note that helps with this cold aspect that this fragrance had. And this one is a true moderate longevity and sillage. You can wear it, I mean, in any occasion. You can't offend anyone by it, but it's not my absolute favorite. Again, yet another Byredo fragrance that I don't like very much. It's nice, there's nothing wrong with it, but not unique, not mind-blowing. So that was Byredo, Rose of No Man's Land. Let's move to Juliette Has A Gun, and the first one that I have here is Mmmm. And the name suits it. It's very fruity, gourmand fragrance. It has this powdery aspect because there is heliotrope. It's sweet but not cloying. It's actually very, very nice. I actually liked it. I know the first impression was not so nice on it, but when I continued to wear it, I really fell in love with it. And I actually contemplating getting it. But then I went on Fragrantica and saw that a lot of people compare it to Hypnotic Poison, EDT. So I went and smelled that one. And I have to say, yeah, the Dior one is definitely better in my opinion. If you have to compare them, this is slightly fresher. The Hypnotic Poison is more warm. But I mean, is more warm, but yeah, I definitely like the Dior one. So I changed my mind and I did not get but it was for a while on my wish list. So it smells like a dessert made with berries and almonds. There is heliotrope in the notes, and heliotrope is a flower that gives this almond powdery effect to a fragrance, and I absolutely love that note, and it works beautifully here. So it's a delicious gourmand fragrance that manages to be not overly sweet or cloying, and that is quite important for me because I don't like overly sweet or gourmand fragrances. And when it comes to performance, this is where you know, it's not the best. It has a soft sillage, which I actually personally appreciate, because when it comes to gourmand, I personally don't want to have a beast mode fragrance. I want it to be more of a soft, moderate sillage, and this is definitely it, and has also a kind of a moderate longevity. So it's not the best in performance. Is it worth the money? Yeah, I just compared it to Hypnotic Poison, so I would say is not worth your money in my opinion. The second one we have here is Sunny Side Up. What a disappointment. This fragrance seemed to be my dream. And sorry about the lightings, the sun comes and goes, so I'm so sorry about the lighting. Anyway, Sunny Side Up, if you read the notes, you would think you will get the most amazing creamy floral fragrance with a woody undertone. But it's not. It's such a weird, actually, fragrance. I can't even explain it. The opening to me was a mess because you can get a lot of notes. They are like clashing and it smelled cheap. So if I had to describe it in one word, it will be nondescript, meh, you know. However, in the very dry down, it gets better. You will get the vanilla and the coconut, so it's slightly creamy, but still I wouldn't recommend this fragrance. One, because of the price tag. The price tag does not correspond with the smell, if you know what I mean. Two, because if you are looking for a vanilla creamy coconut fragrances, there are a lot on the market, designer, niche, that perform better, that are better smelling. And number three, because of the performance. It's really bad, at least on my skin. Longevity and sillage, when I really oversprayed, was moderate. So I don't get it. It's really not worth it, at least in my opinion. So sorry if anyone loves this fragrance. This for me is just a big no. It smells as if someone rushed into making a fragrance, you know. It's not well thought of, it's not really well blended, so to me, I definitely can't recommend this one. So that was Sunny Side Up from Juliette Has A Gun. With that, I finished all 12 fragrances. This time I didn't buy any of the ones that I smelled, and although yeah, was a little bit on my wish list for a while, but yeah, I'm not going to buy any of these fragrances, although some are really good and I would highly recommend, like Layton, Rehab, Son. But yeah, they did not really work out for me. I hope you liked this video and you found it helpful. Please tell me in the comments down below if you have any of these fragrances, if you've smelled them, what you think about them, what is your favorite. I would really love to hear your opinions on them. Again, in the description down below, you will find not also the first impression on these, but a whole playlist of this series, and more are coming very soon. So definitely don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will get notified when I upload any new video. Thanks a lot for watching and see you next time.